Hello everyone and welcome to a new crypto market watch. And today we're going to look at Bitcoin, what it has done over the last days and what it's going to do in the next days. Let's get started. Alright, so first of all, what has it done in the last week? What we see here is we see 4 consecutive red candles and we have a total correction of, let's see how much it was, 28%, which is pretty big. And if you bought at the bottom, congrats, you're already up like 20 or 30%. Very nice. But what we're going to do today is predict where the price is going, not only for the short term, but more specifically for the long term. So the question that is on most people's mind right now is, was this a dip? And is it safe to buy at this point? And I'll tell you what I think and how I'm going to approach it. Um, so first of all, the question, was this a dip or are we gonna go lower? And always when something happens in the crypto market, I would like to compare it with history because history rhymes. Of course, it doesn't repeat always, but it rhymes, it looks similar, and we can get some information out of it. So let's go back all the way to our previous um, previous bull cycle, and more specifically to the beginning of it. So here we see in 2013 we formed a top, just like the 20k top we saw in 2017. We had a bear market, we went back above, and when we actually broke our new all-time high, we went parabolic until new highs, which we have never seen before, and Bitcoin is back into price discovery, which is the same situation that we're in right now. Actually, we see here that around this all-time high, Bitcoin behaved a bit different, of course. Here we tested it, we broke it, and only then we went parabolic. Well, in our case, I can actually show you. This is back to the present, of course. Here we see, let me actually draw this line and zoom in a bit. Here we see we tested it for a while, for a couple of days, and then we went parabolic. So we didn't have this jump above it into a correction into parabolic, which is different. Like I said, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Alright, so if we were going to say Bitcoin is in a situation, it's pretty much in the parabolic phase after a new all-time high is reached, which is similar to this peak that we see right here. And what we see right here is that from the all-time high we went up around 155%. And if we compare it to our current move up right now, we are at 108%. Again, similar, but not exactly the same. So now the question really is, if we compare our pump right now to this pump, what is the difference and at what stage are we? Well, here we have a small consolidation phase where we go a bit below and then we go further. Here we had a big 3-day correction. And here we had a longer term correction. So where are we? Are we in the somewhat horizontal phase? Are we in the big correction phase? Or are we in the long-term correction phase? Well, one thing we can say for sure, and that's that this phase is not really the phase that we're in right now. This was only a, how much was it? 15% correction, which is, yeah, it's normal. It happens daily for Bitcoin. Even in one day it can go 15 down, 15 up. And I think we have also seen that here. Maybe that happened here. Let's see. It's 10%. However, same thing. So as we can see, it's pretty sure that this dump is a bit different than this dump. So now the question is, are we in this situation above or are we in this situation right here? So let's compare the two. So the shape here is we went down and up very quickly until we broke an all-time high and we went further. And here we went down, we went up a bit, and then we went long-term down. Well, obviously, since we only see this part right here, and it's similar to both, and it's actually similar to what we see right here, we don't know yet. And the question is, how can we know? And for that, I have plotted this 20-day moving average. And as you can see right here, is that for short-term corrections, which only take less than a week, this 20-day moving average serves as support. So what we see right here is that it bounces off. We see here that it gets really close. We see here that it goes a bit below. However, it closes above still. However, when we go into the long-term correction, we see it breaks. And then it goes down for like 2 or 3 weeks. And if we go a bit above to the cycle next to it, we see again that to the short term, it always goes back to the 20-day moving average, and it's only for a few days until we move back up. And when it's a bit more longer term, we actually move below the 20-day moving average. So what we know from this is that we should take a careful look at this 20-day moving average, and that it gets pretty dangerous when we get into this situation where we break it. So let's move back to our present day and see what actually happened. So we had this big move up, we went down for a couple of days, and as we see here, we have the 20-week moving average, and it pretty much bounced off. It went a bit below, however, again, we closed above it, which is similar to what we saw here. And now very quickly, just as here, we are moving back up. So if anything, it looks really like this situation, as we see right here, is going to play out, and we're going to find higher highs. However, we're going to see what happens over the next few days. So let me tell you how I'm going to approach this. Well, first of all, I'm going to check whether this price action right here is going to cross our last all-time high. Well, the first thing I'm going to check is whether it crosses our daily close. Let me actually get horizontal lines. Our daily close right here. This is a very important line because if we close above this line, that would have a new daily close which is higher than our highest daily close so far, which is very bullish. And then the second line I'm going to look at is our actual all-time high. And for that we don't even have to close above it, because if we break it, it's already very bullish. So these are the two lines I'm going to look at. The first one, whether we close above it, and the second one, whether we break it. The second thing, what I'm going to watch, is whether we actually close below this 20-week moving average line. So this 20-week or the 20-day moving average line. If we close below the 20-day moving average line, we could go down for a longer period of time. So what would it mean if we go down? And this could also be at a later stage, because of course you can go up and eventually close below the 20-day moving average. What should we be looking at that? And due to my bad public speaking, I already spoiled it sometimes. We actually go to a longer time frame, and we go to the same pump, which is right here. And when we go into a longer dip, and we actually see that here it's all green until this dip, which took around 5 weeks right here, we go all the way back to the 20-week moving average. And this is quite similar to what we saw before, but on a different time frame. So this doesn't take the average of 20 days, the last 20 days, but it takes the average of the last 20 weeks, which is a longer term indicator. So as we have seen in the last bull cycle, is since we went up in the bull market, and we actually broke it around here, which is where we held it here and we held it here, we saw that we kept on coming back to it and holding it for future longer term corrections, which took more than a week. And then we of course had our last blow off top. We don't really count this as a correction because it's less than a week. Blow off top, and then at the last time we went past and actually went below the 20-week moving average. We closed below it, which indicated that we had a longer term bear market. And then we went all the way down, of course. We all know what happened back then. But what we know is in a bull market, which it appears that we are in right now, we keep holding on to this 20-week moving average, which is something you should take as a target right now when we are in the longer term correction. So what you should take away from this is keep an eye on this 20-day moving average. If we close below it, we are in a longer term correction, and our target will be at the 20-week moving average, which right now is quite low actually, since it's around 18.5k, and that's very low. So do I think we're gonna go down to this point? No, definitely not. If we're going down to the 20-week moving average right now, this week, which will be in the next 3 days, then yes, then we would go back to this point. However, I don't think we're gonna correct for another few days, which means that this line will probably go up and up and up and up and up. Well, Bitcoin finds its actual top, and when it indicates there's a longer term correction, we will over a few weeks move down, and I think the target will be somewhere between maybe 22, 28k. It really depends on one, how high we go, and two, how long it takes. Alright, so to summarize, take a close eye on this 20-day moving average. Do we close below it? Or do we actually find a new high or close above the last close where we find a new top? And even in that case, be careful, because if we close below this 20-day moving average, you should zoom out to the 20-week moving average, see where it is, and take that as a target for the next couple of weeks. And when it is close to it, or maybe even touches it, that's a big, big, big buy signal. If we close below the 20-week, it's very bearish, of course, but we assume we are in a bull market right now, so that is our buying point. All right, this was today's market watch. It was a bit more longer term, not really on the hourly or so, but it's something what you should keep an eye on for the next days and see whether we break this line, break above it, break below it, see new highs. I think in the short term everything is possible right now. But now you know where you should look at and how you should trade your Bitcoin. All right, that was it. If you're looking to trade Bitcoin, please take a look into the description. I have a referral link to Bybit. It's one of the best exchanges out there if you want to trade, if you want to long or short with leverage. Please only do it when you're a bit advanced, of course. There's a lot of risk involved. However, they now have very nice bonuses where if you deposit something, you get a lot of free money. I think it's up to $600 that you get for free. Please check it out. Link is in the description. Just make an account, maybe a few bucks you put on there just to try it out. It's really amazing. Alright, that was it for today. Please smash the like button if you liked it. Leave a comment with any question, whether it's something about this video or something in general. I really like to answer these questions in the comments. And then I'll see you next time.